Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the first module of the Foundations of Advertising Research course. I'm Mark Truss. I'm the Chief Research Officer at Wunderman Thompson, and I've been involved with both NYU and the ARF for a number of years. You will have already seen the welcome video from Michael Diamond at the NYU and Scott McDonald from the ARF. So this is the second video you'll be watching, assuming you're watching them in order. The advertising and marketing journey. And this really just kicks things off a bit. Just to sort of level set what this certificate program is all about. You'll walk away from this certificate with the ability to think about marketing activities from a very consumer-centric approach. Think about how you identify the goals and objectives and strategies relevant to a marketing campaign. Assess the requirements for an effective marketing and ad campaign. Develop some actionable insights, integrate that research and insights into the process so that you can actually create creative assets, whatever those may be. Think about your media choices and your media mix and how you come out with optimal media plans, and then how you measure it all. And hopefully along the way, you'll meet a number of industry leaders that you'll enjoy talking to and hearing from. This specific course, the Foundations course, you'll walk away with the ability to sort of evaluate a range of methodologies, research approaches, insight approaches for that process. Develop an understanding of qualitative and quantitative methods, differentiate between different types of behavioral data for measuring campaign impact and feeding insights. Design appropriate success metrics and a measurement plan, and develop a high-level research plan to address those marketing needs. So, like I had said, in this first module of Foundations, you will have seen the welcome video. This is the advertising and marketing journey video, and then following this is another one on what is an insight. Okay. So, of course, there's no two advertising and marketing journeys that are exactly the same. They're all different, but there's certainly certain steps in the process that are always the same. And while evolving technologies and changes to marketing channels are happening all the time, the processes and the tools within each of these steps have remained largely the same. These are the 6 courses in this certificate program that once you complete this Foundations course, you'll be able to select up to 3 of these. Achieving consumer centricity, so putting the consumer at the center of everything we do, from how we organize our departments to how we actually conduct the research and think about the strategies we need to employ. What objectives do we set for our campaigns and the strategy we put forward to get there? How do we actually find an insight? How do we discover that? How do we test that and go forward knowing we have confidence that we have a solid insight? And then how does all of that inform the creative process, right? At the end of the day, we're going to put something in front of our consumers. That's usually some sort of creative asset. But there's a whole process for how we get from the insights through creative development and the testing of those assets. Course 5 is about assessing the media choices and planning which media we want to put our creative assets in. And then, of course, how do you evaluate all this and know that indeed we've achieved our objectives and or tweaking our plans to optimize our plans, right? So this is the process, and the courses, the elective courses, sort of follow this process, but this is the process that we all go through whenever we're launching an advertising campaign. So the foundations, this course will introduce you to a number of these topics. It won't go super deep into them, but it will introduce you to them. And then you'll be able to select and which ones you really want to go deep on based on what interests you, where you see your career going, where you feel like maybe you need a little, maybe you have a blind spot and you sort of want to know more about that topic. Now, the steps in the journey, like on this slide here, they're sort of conceptualized as a very linear approach. You start with number one, you move to number two, but that's really not the case in the real world. Sometimes there are certain steps that are skipped for a number of different valid reasons. And sometimes we need to go backwards and repeat a step and move in a different direction. And this holds true for whether you're planning sort of a very digital performance marketing campaign, I need to increase sales now, or a much broader brand building campaign that sits on top and supports your performance marketing efforts. But the one key to keep in mind is that throughout this journey, research, data, analytics, analysis, they're all critical components of doing all of these steps. And it's all in service of uncovering insights to make sure that our marketing programs are as successful as possible. And you're going to hear more about that, of course, throughout this course as well as the elective courses. I just want to talk briefly about, and this is by far not an inclusive list, but as you sort of think not so much about a campaign, but the life cycle of a product or brand, there's a number of different methodologies that are brought to bear to understand what to do at each stage in a brand's life cycle. So I'm just going to, kind of bring you through this to get you thinking a little bit about, so what do you do before you even start to conceptualize a product, right? When you're on the left side of this chart, you're getting started on a new opportunity. And this is about understanding what's happening in the market today. So you may be doing some social media listening to understand what are people talking about out in the marketplace? Where might there be gaps in the market? Where might there be pain points that the market is currently not addressing? Attitude and usage surveys, which are really just trying to understand how do consumers and people in our hypothesized target audience, what are their attitudes about the category, how the category fits into their life, the different brands in the category and how all that works. How's the market structured? How do people shop in a specific category? Different brands in the category, what are their brand equity? Oh, I skipped segmentation, right? Segmentation, of course, is, we could advertise to everyone in the world, or we could think, maybe there are segments or groups of people who are more likely to try our product or more likely to engage with our brand. Who are they, and can we identify them both in research, in data, and in media? If I want to extend my product, do a line extension, what's the likelihood that people are open to that, and how would that work? And brand elasticity, how far can I stretch my brand, right? So we do all this stuff before we even say, ooh, you know what we should do? We should launch this kind of product. Then we move into the second phase, getting the right idea right. Concept testing, right? So testing different ideas for products, maybe tweaks, maybe wholesale changes, maybe completely new products and try and understand from consumers what those things might look like, what might fill some gaps, what might address some pain points. Concept screening is some very early ideas. We put them in front of consumers and just try and put them into 3 buckets of, wow, these are really good ideas. Maybe we need to do some work on these, and these look like bad ideas, right? Concept testing is we actually put the concept in front of consumers and get their reactions to it. Who in the family would use this product? How often would they use it? What would it replace? What would they be willing to pay for it, et cetera, et cetera. Conjoint or choice tests are used to help us understand how to build a product. What are the features that should be in the product? What's the pricing options that might be available? Or if we're launching a service, what are the different service or subscription tiers that might be useful? Volume forecasting. If I were to launch this product with a specified media plan, what kind of sales would I expect to see in the first year? And if I price it at X or Y, what kind of revenue are we talking about? Variety lineup research. Often we use a technique called TURF, which helps us understand, if I'm launching a new brand of ice cream and I have 5 flavors I can make, but the retail says, no, you're a new brand, you can only have 2. Which 2 do I lead with? What do I name my product? Right? Obviously, at this point, we're still doing social media research and attitude and usage and all these other tools that we use to understand the market. Once we have a product that we think we sort of has potential in the marketplace, then we have to understand the 4 Ps, right? How do we price that product? How do we package the product? We do some actual product testing where we put product in front of consumers, have them use it, and then ask them questions about it. Again, a more robust volume forecasting. We do some channel research to understand where consumers would expect to find a product like this. Then we move into communications research. How do we position our brand? So this is less about the product and more about the brand. How do we position it? What are the positions in the category now? How are we going to stand out and be different? What claims can we make, and which claims can we make that are the most persuasive to people? What kind of messages tend to get people's attention? We do some copy testing. We put actual creative ads in front of consumers and get their reactions to them. And then again, media research to understand what's the best media channels to put this in. And then there's a number of different things we do when we're monitoring performance. Again, social media research, market mix modeling, what's the right mix of channels and investment, media investment to put against these campaigns. Attribution model, which parts of the customer journey where we're engaging with the customer are having the greatest impact on consumers. Web analytics, are we driving people to the websites that we want them to? And then tracking our brand. And then at some point, once we're out in market and we have a mature product, we find ourselves back at understanding the market again. Right. So again, not a comprehensive list of methodologies and approaches used by any means, but just to give you a sense of the different types of research we're doing at each stage. And, I said earlier that these kind of 6 steps in the process remain similar over the years, despite all the different changes that we see around us in the business, in the media, and the technology space. And there are some things that are still applying pressure on this process. We see technology having a huge impact, obviously, and not just in the way we do our work or the way we deliver advertising, but automation is impacting the insights, the research, and then the data world to a very large extent. Big data, and how do we integrate big data into small data and bring the two together in a way that's beneficial to us as insights persons, but also to our ultimate clients, usually brand managers or maybe even CMOs and CEOs. How do we deliver what we do? Storytelling. How do we tell a story with data that is compelling, engaging, and gets the point across very clearly? And what's our orientation as insight people? You know, getting to an answer, finding the data, getting to good data is what a lot of us spend our time doing. But that's only half the process, as I'm sure you know, right? The bigger part of it is how do we then take that learning, which is a means to an end, and behave like a consultant, be consultative for our clients to help them understand a business problem from the data that we collected. Okay, so that's just to kick off, to kind of give you a sense of where this course fits in the whole certificate. So if you have any questions, shoot them on the course site. Otherwise, watch the next video, and then we'll see you in the live synchronous session. Okay. All right. Be well, everyone. I look forward to meeting you all in person. Bye-bye.